This is the Data Privacy Detective. Today, we're going to have a heart-to-heart. It's about data privacy and the online onslaught. Now, if this gets a little personal, I think you'll understand because you suffer from the same attacks by unwanted ads, by people you've never met, by offers of goods and services you didn't seek and you don't want, demands for your attention from unwelcome strangers that invade your privacy constantly and without shame. Well, first, a report following last week's update of February 2024 data privacy news. We discussed a bill passed by the Florida legislature in late February. It called for social media platforms to be banned from subscribing people under 16 years of age, even if their parents approved. Well, this week, Florida's governor vetoed it, stating it went too far by overruling parental control over how their children use social media. Well, there are major issues about social media. It can become an addiction. It can contribute to suicides. The Pew Research Center published studies about the pervasive reach of social media and its constant use among youth. Despite benefits social media offers, there is a dark side. It can become as destructive as opioids, more invasive than alcohol or gambling, and more prone to falsehood and the destruction of a cohesive society than other forms of communication. And it's part of a bigger picture. So today, let's consider the online onslaught. Every day, I spend a lot of time being interrupted and annoyed by unsolicited messages and then decluttering. I delete emails, messages, spam calls from companies, addresses that claim to be people. This all takes time. More importantly, and less noticed by us, this barrage of ads and come-ons and other unrequested digital attacks takes our attention. It invades our privacy. I feel like I'm walking through a smarmy jungle and swatting mosquitoes away with both arms. This is about what privacy is. Our right to be left alone. Our right to be free of unauthorized invasions of our time. Webster's Collegiate Dictionary defines privacy to be, quote, freedom from unauthorized invasion, close quote, or, quote, the quality or state of being apart from company or observation, close quote. Well, when I'm writing or working, I want to concentrate. When I use my computer or smartphone, I want to be in control of it and not be hearing dings and clicks and ringtones about things I don't care about. I want to be free of unwanted invasion. But that's not our online world today. The revenue streams of tech giants depend on advertising revenues and sharing data about us. There are powerful reasons that we're besieged digitally. Companies want to advertise to sell their goods and services. Digital thieves join them to steal our identities and money. Now, here are a few messages my system received just today within 2 hours. Erie Home said, replace your roof now. You cannot put off replacing a failing roof. But I live in a condo. Our condo association is responsible for the roof, and our roof was just replaced 6 months ago. Factor sent me this message. More protein, no meal prep. But I like to cook, and I'm nutritious conscious. Amazon Pay told me to use my Amazon account to pay for things, which is immediately followed by Hero Free Grubhub, free food for a year. Well, why was Amazon Pay dinging me to pay for something if it's offering it for free? Huh? Squaremouth, whatever that is, offered me, quote, best travel insurance of March 2024, though I'm not traveling this month. Claiming to be independent about this essential advice it wanted me to read immediately as though it's trying to do me a favor. TurboTax sent me, I think it's about the 15th message in the last month, calling it your taxes your way. Without knowing, I use a tax accountant for taxes. Experian wants me to check my FICO score today, right now. Well, no thanks. Goodreads and Facebook offer friend suggestions, except I'm not on Facebook or Goodreads, which Amazon owns, and none of the suggested friends are people I've ever met or heard of. Well, now that's just a sampling of a torrent that distracts and requires my time deleting it all. I've never asked for these, and I'd like to stop this torrent of disruption. But how? At least with telephones, there are laws. There are the misdemeanors of telephone harassment that exist in most states over the past 40 years. And there's the FTC's do not call list for telephone calling. You can prohibit solicitors from knocking at your door. Maybe even in some states, you can shoot an intruder who tries to demand that you open your door. But how about when you use your smartphone or computer? Well, there's very little the law will do for you. You have to do it yourself. Well, Europe's GDPR approach has resulted in some fines of companies that send ads to people without their consent. Canada adopted years ago early anti-spam laws, but there's no wholesale ban on unwanted digital advertising or messaging in the United States. There's no federal code about data privacy and unauthorized receipt of advertising. There's no federal law that would let us post a do not send ads or messages to me on my computer or smartphone. Most recent state data privacy laws, and there are a growing number, aim to boost a consumer's right to refuse personalization of ads or unauthorized data sharing, but they don't give us as individuals the right to block companies from sending us ads or other unwanted messages. So, what can we do as individuals? Because it's really up to each of us to decide what we can do to stop the online onslaught of our privacy. Well, here's some ideas. First, exercise your rights on major platforms. Google and other data collection giants are increasingly privacy focused. Take Google. You can go to Google/privacy/ads and data and take a privacy checkup. You can spend time there setting various privacy and tracking options as you wish. This will help you to avoid personalized ads and the sharing of some of your personal information with some third parties, but not all. Nowhere will you find a single button that says, do not share or sell my personal information. Nonetheless, you can turn on or off privacy settings that will increase your privacy or do just the opposite. Google's senior vice president recently posted this on the Google Safety Center. Quote, building products that are secure by default, private by design, and that give you control is how we ensure that every day you're safer with Google, close quote. Well, good idea, Google. But that's not quite what I see yet. There's little privacy by design in your default privacy settings, and you don't yet offer a means of turning off the ability of advertisers and others to send unwarranted message to my Gmail account. At least Google's saying the right things about ultimate privacy objectives. However, number two, don't assume that by preventing personalized ads will reduce the number of ads you will receive. It won't. By turning off personalized ads, you'll actually get more ads that have nothing to do with your interests because they are depersonalized. Now, maybe it'll be easier to ignore them, but still, it will reduce the sharing of your information. Number three, you can spend time writing back to companies that send you unwanted ads saying that you do not consent to getting any more messages from them. Well, now this won't hurt, and it might work, but you may spend more time doing this than ever and so sacrifice your privacy, your time, by fending off digital mosquitoes. You can turn off your phone, except when you need to use it, and stop checking your screen all the time. Block out intrusions on your concentration and your quiet time. Checking the email and message stream only occasionally. The best defense against the online onslaught may be to ignore it. Plan your time to create uncluttered space. Turn off dings and rings and clicks for time you want completely to yourself, whether it's work or play. Now that is privacy by choice. And what can we do as a society? Well, I have no magic list to offer here. We're all going to need to work together on this. But a few things to consider. First, create a digital do not send list. If we don't want to receive unsolicited and unwanted ads from businesses, we ought to have the right not to receive them. This would be something like the federal do not call list for telephones, and this could be created for digital communications. Now that would be a start. FTC, are you listening? Number two, courts should recognize that our privacy and our time are worth something. Class action rulings about data breaches have resulted in some judicial findings that a person is not injured until there's actual monetary loss of money or other property. But our time is perhaps our most precious property. It's worth something. As an attorney, I have an hourly rate. So do almost all workers. Courts could award an hourly rate based on an amount for how unwanted digital messages take our time and attention and require us to take action, including to declutter and delete the messages and tell advertisers we don't want their messages anymore. Number three, there ought to be someday a federal data privacy code, and it ought to put us in control of our personal information and our digital space. Legislators and regulators will have to balance the interest of advertising, of marketing in our capitalist economy. But those who want unlimited ads coming to them without their consent or request, well, they can allow them. But for those of us who would prefer to have an ad-free and unauthorized message-free day, today's anything goes system is unacceptable. There must be something in a federal digital privacy code to deal with this and strike a proper balance. The online onslaught, think about it. Do you want freedom from unauthorized invasion of your life, including when you're online? That would be the very meaning of privacy in a digital world. Well, as always, dear listeners, I'll end this episode by reminding us all, protecting your personal privacy begins with you.